talking about trust. So with trust, trust is something that shows up in so many ways off of the mat, both as a mental and a physical challenge. And on the mat, there are lots of poses that we use to work with trust and to ultimately work with fear, which is the opposite of trust. So today, with that being said, we're going to be working on crow pose. So I wanted to let you guys know that up front, just in case you do have any issues with wrist or things of that nature. We will be working on crow supine and also sitting on our tailbones. So there are ways that you can definitely access this posture without having to put full weight on your wrist, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So with that being said, if it's okay for you, we're going to transition to all fours, where we're actually going to start to warm up our wrist. So although obviously when we do arm balances and crow pose in particular, it is a weight bearing movement on our hands. However, we want to use balance and core strength to really help out with that, so our wrists aren't having to do a lot of the work. But we are going to start out by just making some circles. So as you start to make these circles, just start to find and notice your breath. So we notice a lot of times when we're in moments of fear and we are lacking trust that we often hold our breath. So this happens all the time off the mat, but frequently on the mat as well when we're in more challenging poses, sometimes like crow pose. You'll just notice that you start to hold the breath. And so we'll just really pay attention to our breath in all of our movements today to see if we can really just keep that awareness, keep the breath soft, keep the breath steady. And the more we're able to breathe, the more we're able to stay present. And we really find that trust in the present moment. Fear often lives in the past because we have a preconceived notion of a sensation that we may feel or the outcome of a circumstance or situation. Maybe take the fingers out to the side and let's continue with those circles. Maybe start to hug your belly button in just a little bit here so that core starts to fire up. Maybe switching directions, maybe drawing some figure eights. Let's see how you're feeling today. If you spend a lot of time driving or typing or doing things with your hands, your wrists might be a little bit more tender. And last but not least, maybe change the direction toward your knees and just gently rock back and forth. We'll do a couple of strengthening postures and poses today, as well as opening. And when you're ready, if you need to linger, of course, as always, linger. We'll come back to center, and we'll start with thread the needle. Reaching your right arm up to the sky with a deep breath in. Exhale, right arm underneath the left, coming down onto the right shoulder, right cheek. Left fingertips will reach forward and just soften into the mat here. And left fingertips back underneath the left shoulder. As you inhale, right fingertips reach back up. Exhale, back to center. Changing our sides. Inhale, left fingertips reach. Exhale, left arm underneath the right, coming down onto the left shoulder, left cheek. Right fingertips reach forward. Soften into the mat here. So I'll move you through a couple more postures, and then in honor of time of this challenge and this practice, this will be around 20-25 minutes to allow you for a little Shavasana meditation before ending at the 30-minute mark, in case you need to go back to work. But if you do have some more time, inhale, right palm underneath the right shoulder, left fingertips lift, and back to neutral. Maybe after we do these opening postures, you pause to take a few rounds of sun salutations just to fire up the core, warm up the body. But we will do some warm up here. So we're going to do some shoulder push-ups. So taking the wrist underneath the shoulder, start to grip the mat with the fingertips, not the palm of the hand. Keep it lifted. And then without moving the belly button, keep it pulled in. Start to melt your heart down as you inhale. Exhale, pull it back up. We'll just do a few rounds here. Some scapular push-ups. Protracting and retracting our shoulder blades. This also feels great if you spend a lot of time driving or typing. Keeping those shoulders rounded, just finding a little movement there, almost kind of like cat-cows. Just burns a little bit. Notice if you're trying to lock out your elbows and see if you can keep them soft. But keeping the movement just in those shoulder And coming back to that tabletop position, we're going to go straight into dolphin pose. So dolphin is a great pose to strengthen the shoulder girdle, also to open your shoulders, both which are important in our crow pose for today. So we're going to take our hands down on the mat, place your palms into prayer for this variation. Taking a moment to make sure that we're not just pressing in with our elbows, but we're finding the knife edge of both hands, as well as the length of your forearms. Start to pull your belly button in, then tuck the toes under and lift the hips. You can start to walk the toes towards the elbows, but make sure we're not dumping down. We're really pressing into the mat, lifting up. We're going to find 10 breaths here. So just like in downward facing dog, we want to lift the tailbone up, but start to ground the heels. Maybe soften your knees if you have tight hamstrings. Belly button's pulling in. 5 more breaths. Make sure when you get tired, you don't start to dump down. Stay lifted. From here, we're going to take those toes up, tiptoeing all the way up. Take your forearms, flip them over, palms on the mat. We're in a forearm plank again. Don't just drop down into those shoulders, lift up, stay strong. 3 more breaths, you can do it. And soften the hips. We're going to pull the heart through, coming into Sphinx pose. Lift those shoulders up towards the ears for a moment and then press them back. Shoulder blades traveling down the spine. And from here, we're going to come into, I guess, a fitness move or maybe a Pilates move. We're going to come into Superman, or as I like to call it, a locust variation. We're just going to take the arms forward. So again, activating that back body. Lifting up with your inhale, reach the arms forward, toes up. Let's stay here for 5 breaths. Make sure you're not holding it. Point the toes, roll the inner thighs in. 3 more breaths. 2. Last one. And bring it down. From here, you can imagine you're a pancake on a hot griddle and just roll it over. That's how you know I'm Southern. Pancake on a griddle. We're going to come all the way down. Adjust your clothes if you need to here. We're going to come into a supine crow. So finding all the sensations that we would, this is a great way to practice with the strengthening aspects of crow without having to destroy your wrist as you're starting to build the strength in doing so. So I will talk about a couple of ways to modify crow, a couple of ways to make your crow a little bit easier for you. And you can just take what you need from this little tutorial video challenge and just leave the rest behind. If your crow is already super strong, maybe you can use these exercises and drills to work into crane. So from here, we'll start to bring the knees in towards the chest. And then we're going to take our hands up towards the sky, and you're going to imagine that you're pressing your ceiling off your house or whatever building that you're in. From here, pull the belly button into your spine, tuck your chin to your chest, start to roll up, flex your feet, and then you're going to press the floor away. That's not on your hands, just imaginary floor. Press, 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 press. Breathe, don't straighten your neck, and then soften it back down. So feel free to do that a couple more times. If that just felt super easy, then I'm going to give you our next round where we're going to take our knees to our actual triceps while we're still laying on our back. We'll do the same thing. That imaginary floor is going to be right in front of your hands. You're going to press it away. You're going to start to spread the fingertips and just literally imagine that you're in crow pose. So pulling the knees in, you're going to take it up and press, press, press. Squeeze that belly button in. Take 3 more breaths. Flex the feet. You can see I'm shaking. And lower it down. So if we felt some fun things there, maybe you'd like to pause the video and do a couple more rounds there. Maybe you'd like to move on. So from there, we're going to do what I like to call crow crunches. So we're going to take that first variation, and then you can return to that second variation if you'd like, of crunching up. So taking the hands, again, we're going to imagine we're pressing something away that keeps our wrists active, so we're strengthening our wrists without having to bear weight on them. Super fun. So we're going to come here, keep pulling that belly button in, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, crunch up, pull the knees in towards your chest, press the floor away. Inhale back down, relax your hands down to the floor. Exhale, press up. And pull back down, soften the body. Let's go for 8. You should feel your shoulders, your arms. 7. Your abs, maybe even your feet. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. Hold it up and squeeze. Let's hold this one for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Pull it back in. We're going to rock up and down here. We're going to come to our sitting bones. Maybe bring your feet in, take a little twist. Just keep that core open. And we're going to do crow sitting on our tailbones. So it's going to be a similar motion. So again, if you pause the video and did some sun salutations, maybe you have a lot of heat. Maybe you're just more feeling your core muscles, and that's okay. That's what we're working on today. So we'll pull the knees in towards your chest. Start to lift your chest in boat pose. Just hold it here. Make sure we're not rounding here, but we're lifting up, because we know if we start to round over in our crow pose that we are going to fall. Coming here, then maybe start to lift here. So keeping the chest lifted, we want to keep the heart open, right? We're trusting, but we have to make some space in our back body, right where fear lives. So spreading the shoulder blades apart, breathe. And then maybe start to point the toes and bring the heels towards the sitting bones. Let's stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Touch down. Round over those knees. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take a couple of breaths here. We're going to do that twice more. When you're ready, come back up. We're going to do that once again. So taking what you need from these, again, if you need to leave your heels down, that's perfectly fine. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can really work those heels towards those sitting bones. You'll start to feel those real low abs start to light up, which is a sensation we should feel when we're on our hands. When you're ready, knees come in. You're going to take your hands, press it out. Maybe lift the legs a little bit, play with that. Just feel where you feel sensation, where you feel strength, where you feel that you can find trust, where you can let go of fear. Maybe pull the heels in. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet down. Round over the legs and breathe. And last round. Taking what you need from this round. Lift the legs. Press the hands away. Maybe tuck those heels in. Keep lifting the chest round through the shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Crossing those ankles. We're going to grab a block if you would like a little assistance with your crow. If you don't need one, then don't worry about it. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about in crow pose. Obviously, crow pose is more about trust and more about balance than it is about strength. Strength is always important. If you don't have any core strength, it's going to be really challenging to get up. But most of the time, when students come to me and they're struggling with their crow, it's usually just an emotional or mental fear of the actual pose and not the strength or the balance. So just taking a moment to really check in with that. As always, if you ever need to pause and a video and sit with something, feel free to do so. Journaling is always nice within your practice. As we start to get into our bodies, we start to find different patterns, different narratives, different emotions that come up. So reflection is always helpful as we're using our practice to know ourselves a little bit more deeply. But if we are struggling with that fear and maybe using crow pose as a way to get away from fear and lean into trust, then maybe you can support yourself by taking a block for your forehead. If that's not available, you can always use a pillow. If we're having a little struggle with keeping the arms in for crow pose, if we splay our arms out, it's going to be much harder to balance and keeping ourselves up physically. You can always take a strap and put them around your elbows. If you don't have a strap at home, a belt, a scarf, or anything, because we're not going to need it to really hold us up. It's just a gentle reminder to keep those arms in. So I'm going to show you how to use this block. This is a really great way for people that have never been able to balance on their hands to get up. So we're going to take our hands and come into tabletop position. So just a word about our arms. We've got these beautiful little elbow pits. We want them to come forward slightly, but still facing each other. So we're not wrapping it all the way around, but spiraling our forearms in and our triceps out. So this gets a slight rotation so that if we were to bend our elbows, they're not going to come here, but they're going to come here. So from here, we're going to come up onto those tippy toes, start to bring your belly button in. Just a word about how to get into this. There's no wrong way to get into this. You know, again, just finding a place where you can trust. I like to come into it from chair pose sometimes because my legs are already in that position. I do not like to come into it from Malasana, just on the fact that with our anatomy, we want to pull in. When you're in Malasana, you're in an externally rotating pose, and with crow pose, we want to internally rotate through those thighs and pull everything into our midsection. So I just feel like from an anatomical perspective, we're just asking ourselves to do two totally different things. But it's a personal preference. Again, wherever you can trust and let go of fear, you do that. So, but bringing it up here, we're able to get those knees towards our triceps, and you can lean, 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 lean. Maybe letting your forehead come to the block. Maybe that would be an appropriate place for one foot to lift. Maybe it's both. Maybe we play with toe taps for a moment. Coming down whenever you're ready. At any point, you need to sit back on your tailbone, roll your wrist, do whatever you need. Just take a couple of rounds of breath. Maybe you lifted your toes for the first time. Maybe if you've been doing crow or crane for a while, you can practice with lifting one knee at a time. So you have just one knee on the back of your tricep. Possibilities are endless. We never grow out of this pose. We never grow out of any pose. If you've been doing crow for a while, maybe you just challenge to see how deeply and fully you can breathe into your body. So we're going to do a couple more rounds here. Whenever you get tired, just let that be enough for you. Yoga is not about wearing your body out. Yoga is about making your body stronger, making your mind stronger, making you feel more supported in your emotional bodies. So again, maybe just coming here, maybe leaning into trust, kicking the fear off your feet. Finding yourself breathing, pulling the heels into the sitting bones, maybe work on straightening the arms. Let's breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down. Just take a moment, take a breather. So I'll let the choice be yours. Maybe pause the video here, play with your crow pose for a moment, maybe take a moment to journal. And then when you're ready, just hit play again and we'll come right back here. So very simply, to cool down, we're going to come down to our bellies. We're going to come into broken wing pose. Taking your right arm out, left hand underneath the shoulder. Just gently roll over onto that right shoulder, opening it up. Take about 5 or so breaths here. As always, at any point if you need to linger, feel free to hit pause. Back to center. Changing sides. And back to center. Hands underneath your shoulders, press it up into a tabletop position where we can just do a couple of rounds of cat-cow, really open up through the front body. Find space in your back body. Making any additional movement that you would like here. The down dog would feel good. Feel free to take that. No right or wrong movement here. So maybe breathing in gratitude. Maybe breathing out any expectations, any frustrations. Just acknowledging that that happens in our yoga practice. Sometimes our bodies don't do what we want them to do. Just breathe in and once again find that trust that you are right where you need to be today. Your body did exactly what it was supposed to. Each breath is a new opportunity. Each day is a new opportunity. When you're ready, find a child's pose, either bringing big toes together or leaving your knees together. Sink the hips back towards your heels. Perhaps if you did a lot of crows, hands and some salutations, bring the palms together, stretch into those triceps. Bracelets hung in my hair. And when you're ready, you can slowly come back up. So maybe depending on where you are in your day and what your intent was with this practice, maybe coming to your back for some supine twist before finding a shavasana, maybe just coming up for some seated twist. Again, really making this about you. Let me find some shoulder rolls. If you are on your back, just take your time softening down into the earth, allowing yourself a moment for shavasana. If that's not available for you at this point in your day, maybe just find a quiet corner to sit in, maybe have a seat in your chair. But either way, just find a timer, set it for 5 to 10 minutes. Just give yourself a moment to connect to breath, just let everything calm down, to relax your mind, relax your body, and just get to know yourself a little bit more. And until next time, from my heart to yours, namaste.